Okay.
Whose contention that social justice Catholics are somehow pro-abortion.
Well, I just wonder if he's ever met someone who adhered to the Church's teaching on social teachings while at the same time being very pro-life. Because I've met a lot of people, including me, my wife, most of the young adults at my parish. A lot of the people that you'd meet at Planned Parenthood, at a prayer vigil. I think there's a lot, especially maybe among the younger crowd. I don't know how it was when Bill was growing up in the church, but a lot of the people that I've met, a lot of young people I've met, have a more sort of holistic sense of what the Church's teaching is. They sort of, I think if you listen to the Pope, as a lot of young people do, that you'll hear the Pope say that the pro-life movement and social justice is intertwined. You can't really have one without the other. You can't just... I have a good friend who talks about it as being pro-life both inside the womb and outside the womb. And it's just obvious to a lot of people that the woman getting abortions aren't doing it because they're sadistic psychos who just want to kill their babies. They're doing it for real reasons rooted in social injustice. That doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that the women don't have a choice, that they can't choose not to have an abortion. There are services available for adoption, for other things. Project Rachel is really good. Or maybe it's Gabriel. Maybe it's Project Gabriel. But at the same time, we do know that there are structures within society that lead people into temptation. There's broken structures, there's poverty, there's crime, drugs, a lot of things caused by really greed and just sin in general, which lead to the high number of abortions that we have. And so I think that just a lot of people I would say to Bill, you know, if we want to end abortion, there's a very simple way to do it. It's to take our battle away from these elections and begin, just even in our local communities, taking care of the poor and taking care of women. If we do that, if we take care of the poor and we take care of women, abortions will really, really start to plummet in this country. If we keep on focusing on trying to elect supposedly pro-life politicians who turn their back on us and appoint justices or I just think we're barking up the wrong tree when we put all of our eggs in the political basket. We really have to make it our own personal duty to fight abortion. And so I don't know. I would just say to Bill that he ought to just spend more time trying to meet social justice oriented Catholics, because I think you'll find that a lot of them are pro-life and a lot of them are willing to work with him. I know that I'd be willing to work with him. I know that I've been to plenty of vigils at Planned Parenthoods, and I see it all as one battle.
Well, there's some very good points you make, because the U.S. bishops say very clearly that social justice teachings and the whole gamut of Catholic social teachings are not optional teachings to be dismissed. Well, for people like Bill Donoghue, that's exactly what they are. Optional teachings to be dismissed. And the reason is very simple. Because Bill Donoghue and Dale Hudson and these other guys have aligned themselves to the Republican Party. Now, to give them the benefit of the doubt, you may say they do that for the abortion issue. But you don't see them standing up there fighting the Republican Party on all the issues that go against Catholic social teaching. I remember Bill Donoghue was cheering on the Iraq War. I don't know what Dale Hudson was doing. They play down the kind of economic teachings as, you know, these are prudential judgments, or again, in other words, optional teachings that can be dismissed. And when you align yourself to a political party, I mean, you're basically selling out church teachings in one form or another. Because, as Nate pointed out, if you really cared about abortion, it's pretty straightforward what you need to do. Whereas if you focus your attention on getting these, quote, pro-life judges, unquote, You don't make much impact on abortion, but you do have an impact in other areas. You get them voting for torture, you get them voting for the death penalty, you're getting voting for all kinds of stuff. That's completely opposed to Catholic social teaching.
Yeah, you know, I think you're exactly right. I think what I see happening is a lot of people forming their consciences not according to church teaching, but according to our culture.
Yes.
And the bishops talk about this. They talk about how we're called to evangelize our culture, and yet the culture has sort of evangelized us a little bit. And I think you see Catholics on both the right and the left that's occurring. But all you have to do is open up the church has a great document. It's called the Compendium of the Social Doctrine of the Church.
Yes.
And you open it up, and the first few pages it talks about what is the social doctrine of the church, and it lays it right out. It says that it's at the heart of our faith, that it's integral to evangelization. That's actually the exact words from it, that it's integral to evangelization or to the gospel. And if I think that once we turn back to the church for forming our hearts and guiding our actions, then you'll no longer see people aligning themselves strictly with one party or another. You're not going to see people. I mean, abortion is a huge issue, a huge, terrible thing going on in our country right around us. But John Paul II, in his peace message for 2000, said that what he saw as the biggest problem facing Christianity wasn't abortion. He didn't put it in that terms, but he said that the greatest problem that he saw was poverty, worldwide poverty. And I think once we understand that poverty is linked to so many other of the social problems that we're having, including abortion, that we'll first of all, we'll begin fighting the same battles instead of being divided on things like torture, being divided on things like the economy. You're right. It's what you said is it's not an option. Social teaching is not an option. It's not a wing of the church. It's at the heart of the gospel. Yes. And once you understand what the social teaching is, you're going to realize it. You're going to be like, yes, of course, this comes right from Jesus, calling us to battle abortion, battle war, battle torture, battle everything. Not only that, but create a culture of life and of peace. And
absolutely.
I think what we don't want to do, though, is cut ourselves off from one another by separating ourselves into different camps. I mean, Bill Donahue and Dale Hudson, obviously, we disagree with them strongly on a lot of issues, but I think that the important thing is to approach one another in charity, so that we can become more converted. So that it's not going to do any good for us to try to marginalize one another.